and welcome everyone to our UC Berkeley Extension Career Night. We usually do this in downtown San Francisco in the financial district. And so I'm sorry to say we have to do it via Zoom, but we're all used to Zoom virtual meetings and the work that we're doing, the classes that we take. So I guess this is the second best. I know that I've tried to turn my meetings that are usually 60 minutes into 45 minutes. Those that are a half hour, I try and turn into 20 minutes. So our in-person meeting that we do every year is usually about 2 hours. It's loud, there's a ton of networking. So we've turned this into an hour and a half, but I promise it's gonna be of value and definitely worth your time. There's a lot of behind the scenes work that was put into place to make this work. So a lot of people to thank. It's the UC Berkeley Extension crew of Valerie Dow, Emily Smith, Matt DiPietro, who's our tech specialist, Craig Kirkpatrick, one of the co-chairs of this event, and then the panelists that you're going to meet later. Eric Flett, I'm going to introduce later, but he's got a really important part of this. And then I would say the most important people are the hiring firms. This is called the Career Night. And without hiring firms, it wouldn't be much of a career night. So I have Edward Jones, Northwestern Mutual, Waypoint Wealth Partners, the Financial Services Network, First Republic, and Vista Wealth. You all will have plenty of time to ask questions and hear from them. And all of those firms have been very supportive of the program. They've hired graduates of the program. And what I like about this career night is you will see lots of different business models. These firms in particular all have different types of business models. And what the other advisory board members and I recognize is there is not one single business model that's necessary to follow in order to be successful and have a fulfilling financial advisory practice and career. So you'll be able to see the differences of these. And then thank you to the students, the graduates, the individuals that are on this call who are considering entering into this program and this career. This career night is one of 2 events that we put on. And we're working towards fulfilling that goal that we as the advisory board have. That goal is to create a network of successful practices and businesses to introduce graduates of this program to see what's right for you. I'm the first to admit that in this education process, you could take the path of just doing a self-study program. But in all the surveys that we see, all the people we talk to who've gone through this program, what they appreciate the most is that hands-on learning experience that you do with other students, the exposure and access you have to the instructors, and then the network of what we are providing in a venue like this. So thank you for that. In this event, I'm gonna turn it over just in a minute to 4 individuals. It's Brian Kozel, Kurt Karaskia, April Antonio, and Emily Smith. And they're gonna go through sort of their perspectives on the program. I'll come back and introduce Eric. We'll go through the panel discussion, and then after that, we're going to have a short amount of time for the hiring firms to make announcements. Again, those hiring firms are First Republic, Vista, Edward Jones, Waypoint, Northwestern Mutual, and the Financial Services Network. And then we'll be able to turn it into the breakout session. So let me turn it over to Brian. Brian, take it away.
Awesome, thanks, Campbell. And as Campbell already highlighted, the audience is in for a treat tonight with our terrific panelists, so I won't clog up the airwaves for more than a minute here. As Campbell mentioned, I am Brian Kozel, and I currently have the honor of being the chair of the Professional Advisory Board for the Financial Planning Program at UC Berkeley. The board is comprised of advisors and firm owners who know what it takes to be successful in this business, but more importantly, are committed to using that wisdom to pay it forward. And I know that I myself went through the program and got tremendous value from events like this. As Campbell mentioned, these are often in person in downtown San Francisco with a lot of networking. And so we understand the limitations of Zoom, also the opportunities that it provides. But I definitely encourage anybody who's on this call to reach out afterwards to anybody you didn't get a chance to connect with, whether that's myself, Emily as program manager, or anybody on the board. Other students, friendly faces and names. I was just scrolling through the attendee list, and it's great to see many people that haven't had a chance to gather with in person over the past year. But I definitely want to highlight the meaningful connections and career advancement opportunities that come from an event like this and from a program like what we have here at the UC Berkeley Extension. There's obviously hiring firms that we just named, but there's also connections and relationships that you never know how they're gonna mature later on. And we're in the process of naming a new partner at our firm, and it's actually a younger professional that I met through the UC Berkeley Extension program 8.5 years ago. So there's a lot of success stories that can be lifted up. And with that, I will get us one step closer to the panelists and turn it over to the one and only Kurt Karaskia.
Thank you, Brian. Good evening. Welcome to everybody for our first virtual event. I'm sure everyone would like to be in person, and we're gonna make this work. You know, over the past 12 months, recognize a lot has changed, and we've had our more than share of firsts. But this is you know, our program that goes forward. As Campbell was saying, and Brian as well, you know, a lot of people to thank tonight. Valerie, you know, big thank you, you know, for pulling all this together, and Emily, who we're going to hear from in a moment. I think people are getting very good with Zoom and this whole online format. So thank you for setting this up. You know, there's so many great components to our program, and certainly tonight is one of those. You know, as we look at Career Night, this is an opportunity to hear from some panelists, and they're going to share their experiences. Blind spots as they were coming into the industry, things that worked, things that didn't work. You know, our feedback from students, this is a very valuable night, and really happy that everybody that is joining us tonight is going to be able to experience this. I've had the privilege of teaching the program since 1998. It's been nothing short of amazing, and just watching this program grow over the past 23 years. But to be honest, you know, the program wouldn't be anywhere close to where we are without our students. We've had so many amazing people finish the program, graduate, go on to bigger and better things. Hard to keep track of everybody, but you know, these students, alumni, they are in leadership positions and really making a name in the financial planning community, really making a difference. They're at small firms, big firms, wirehouses, banks, RIAs, you name it, they are there, they are present, and they're making a really big difference. So there's a lot of things that I really love about this program, and Campbell spoke about one of them a moment ago on the networking side. Some of you are currently students that are attending tonight. Some are candidates. You're considering, you know, joining this program. Something that we really are proud of is the reach of our network. And whether it's people on the advisory board, you know, making introductions, whether it's, you know, people teaching the classroom, you know, kind of accessing their network, whether it's administration, whether it's the firms that we partner with, there's a lot of opportunities. So hopefully everybody's able to take advantage of this, and an evening like tonight is a start. As Campbell was saying at the end, we're going to break out into breakout rooms, and you'll have instructors, you'll have advisory board members, you'll have hiring firms, you know, a lot of different people to be speaking to in these breakout rooms. So after the panel is complete, hopefully you'll stick around for that, because that's actually a really good part. Let's see, you know, as a program, as we look at kind of what we've done, we've made some really big strides. And I think over the course of my 23 years being involved with the program, you know, certainly national recognition. But aside from that, I think what separates good programs and great programs is that great programs, even if they're great, they keep moving forward. And I think for our program, we're going to hear from April in a moment. She's on our student advisory board, and Emily, who runs our program. They will let you know kind of where we're going. But we're not satisfied with where we are. We're always trying to get better. And the Student Advisory Board, we're very proud of that. That's an opportunity for a voice for our students, and they can tell us what's working, what's not working, areas that we can improve. So we feel very, very fortunate, lucky, and we're here from April in a moment. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to April. Thank you again for everybody attending tonight, and off to you, April.
Thanks, Kurt. Hi, everyone. My name is April Antonio. I am the co-chair of the Student Advisory Board for UC Berkeley Extension Personal Financial Planning Program. I recently graduated from the program, and I started back in 2019, and I had the opportunity to attend the classes in person, and then I finished off my classes when we went virtual in the spring of last year. And I agree with what everybody has said before me, Kurt and Brian. The program is awesome. And I actually attended a student advisory board event, and that's what helped me realize I wanted to be in the program. Also, I had colleagues who had gone through it, and it's just been top notch. And having the different connections has really helped me feel like I am making progress in the field of wealth management and secure in what I'm doing with my career. But a little bit about the Student Advisory Board. So we basically exist to help support the students. We exist to help them network, provide programs that can help you come together, and also provide different opportunities for career paths and just to get to know one another. One of the popular events that we've had in the past is a test prep panel. So if there's anyone on here who is in the program or who is about to start studying for the CFP exam, we will be hosting another test prep panel at the end of March. The exact date is to be determined, but we are lining up a great panel of test prep providers. And after the event, I can leave my information. Please feel free to reach out to me. We also have a LinkedIn page that you can connect to that we often post job opportunities on. Trying to think. Oh, I guess I should talk a little bit about what I actually do. I currently work as a wealth management associate for Aspirient, which is an RIA based out of Los Angeles, and we're here in San Francisco. But that partnered with the UC Berkeley Extension program has really helped me come into my own, especially over the past year, in everything that I learned while in the program. And then I think maybe Brian or Kurt said it, being able to have the hands-on training and immediately being able to then go to work the next day and apply what I've learned in the classroom, that's been invaluable. So I think that's all I have to say. Please feel free to connect with me, and I am going to pass it on to Emily.
Great. Thank you so much, April. Hi, everyone. My name is Emily Smith, and I am the program manager for the business programs at UC Berkeley Extension. It's just so great to see everyone here tonight, even virtually. We're just so thrilled to have you join us. If you're not familiar with the certificate program in personal financial planning, broad strokes, this program and its individual courses are a great fit for anyone who's interested in a career in financial advising or wants to better understand personal financial planning concepts and techniques, or who would like to prepare for the CFP exam. As folks have mentioned, last March, we had to make a really quick pivot to Zoom and live online instruction, and our students and our instructors showed great resilience in doing that. So big kudos to everyone for making that quick shift. We have a great panel and wonderful industry professionals with us tonight, so I won't take up too much of your time, but if you would like to learn more about PFP, you can visit our website, extension.berkeley.edu, or email us at extension-business@berkeley.edu. We also hold info sessions a couple of times a year. Our next one is coming up at the end of May, so you're welcome to join that as well. And I just want to take a few minutes of your time to thank a few people. Our wonderful advisory board puts on so much work for these sorts of events, and they really and truly are invested in the students in this program and their success in this field. So I just want to thank everyone who was able to join us tonight and who wasn't. They all did a lot of work to make this event happen. Also, of course, thank you to April for representing the Student Advisory Board and our panelists and hiring firms who are joining us tonight. And finally, on that note, I do want to really encourage people to stay on for the breakout room portion of this event later. It's just a great opportunity to meet folks in the field, have conversations with our panelists, our board members, our hiring firms. It will be a really fantastic part of this event. So with that, I will pass it back to, I think, Campbell.
Thank you, Emily. Okay, so this is the main event that we're entering into, and Eric Flett, my friend, runs the panel, and if the financial advisory business doesn't work for him, we may have the next Oprah right here with Eric. He's an interviewer, he's a conversationalist. He loves to dig deep and to ask people how they really feel. So to even make this more fulfilling for all of us, using that chat at the bottom is going to be helpful. Eric has his topics that he wants to go through, but getting real questions from the audience, I think, will make this even more dynamic. So what we've seen in the past is we throw out a lot of terms of RIA, investment advisor, financial planner, wirehouse, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there are a lot of questions. So in this panel discussion, these three panelists all have they come from three different walks of life. And they've all created, some are career changers, some have started from day one as financial advisors. But I want you to be thinking about sort of how they got to where they are now and visualize yourself in that same trajectory. So Eric, thank you so much for being a part of this. I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks, Campbell. After that nice introduction, I realize I need to increase my fee for next year, and B, we're going to need a lot more time. So we'll try and cram as much as we can into the limited time, but next year we're going to need more time. So I'm going to just dive right in and introduce you to our panelists as we get going. I'm going to start by asking Michael Ma to start. Michael Ma is a partner with Parallel Advisors in San Francisco. So Michael, what advice would you like to give to our young planners who are sitting in the audience today?
Well, I think mindfulness on the varying ways to enter the business. And if you're already in the business, enjoy a career in the business, get a lay of the land, so to speak. The industry is constantly changing. The industry today is different than when I joined in 2001. And everything from firms, generally large firms that have very structured training programs, similar to the one that I benefited from when I started in the business, to finding a mentor advisor who might be looking for a succession plan in the coming years, and they need help. The succession plan for advisors is an opportunity for the young people in the business. There are so many advisors today, and I speak to them all the time, that don't have a succession plan, not really sure how it's going to work. Sometimes it's a function of not finding the right person. Sometimes it's a function of not, you have a large book, maybe you can't go to one person, maybe you need multiple solutions. So the answer to that question, Eric, is if you're early in the career, take some time, take a step back, take some time to think about all the different ways that you can build that career path, and different strokes, different folks. For some people, they want to get thrown into it and take the pressure and the stress of that opportunity, and maybe they'll excel, and maybe somebody else, it'll be too much for them and unpleasant. So think about who you are as a person, be mindful of all the opportunities ahead, and try to build that career path for yourself. And as you've said many times with many of the people here, there's a lot of resources that UC Berkeley Extension, this program offers. Don't be afraid to tap into those resources.
That's a good start. Thanks, Michael. Kate, I'm going to come to you next. What advice do you have for our audience tonight?
Okay, well, thanks for having me. I agree with a lot of the things that Michael just said. The first thing I think is keep an open mind. There's a different path than what you may think the path you're going to take into this career is. And I'll probably expand on that more in my breakout room and things, but I'm going to couple that with don't be elitist. I think there's like a lot of snobbery in our industry about like this platform is better than this platform and this platform has conflicts of interest, et cetera. It's hard to make it and get into this industry. So whatever it takes to get in and earn your keep and be in a firm, it's worth doing it because it's a just wonderfully amazing career. Don't be in this for the money. I have a lot of young entrants to the field or new entrants to the field talk to me about they're not making as much money as they wanted to make. And that comes way down the road and it might not come at all. So you have to be entering this industry because it makes you feel incredibly wonderful on a daily basis. And it's interesting. You're constantly intellectually challenged. You play this really important role for people in their lives. And that really should be the driver over the money. And I think that's important to recognize because in the Bay Area, we have really high entry wages in like tech. And so this isn't tech, you're not going to be there. So are you going to be okay with that on a financial, personal success type of level? The future is totally different than it is today. And I think that the more you can do to try to see the future and envision what the future is, that's where you can be leaders in the firms, because I don't think we have a lot of visionaries in our senior level of financial planning and wealth management who are changing fast enough to serve the future client. And I think it's really exciting when people are brave enough to envision a different future than we have today, which is just built on this idea of AUM models.
Thanks, Kate. So thanks for not sugarcoating any of that. And also I forgot to introduce you that Kate is with Ameriprise Financial and she has offices in San Francisco and the North Bay. But we'll get back to that. And then now we're going to really test our Zoom capabilities here. I'm going to go to Marilyn Suey. So Marilyn, why exactly are you driving in the car? You must have had someplace important that you were at.
Well, welcome and thanks for having me. I will say one thing, Eric, we all need to be very flexible, and I want to let you all know that you can tell how old I am because I just got my second COVID vaccine shot, and that's the reason why I was a little bit behind. I had expected to be taking it from my office or from my home office, and here I am in the car. So thank goodness for technology, and thank goodness for the fact that we all know how to use Zoom. So for those of you who are on your way to get a vaccine, please do it because it'll make our world a little better. But I agree with both my colleagues here. Mindset's really important. And I want to say that regarding Kate's comment about earning, I will say that, yes, the earnings are a little bit less because for those of you who know me, I came from tech. So I came from a very, gratefully came from a very productive career, and I started this business from scratch in 2002. So literally I was earning zero. I had a paycheck of zero. But I would say that I use this term all the time with my younger cohort, is always be learning to increase your earning, meaning that for those of you who are in the CFP program now, you're doing great, congrats, but continue to learn so that you can bring more value to your clients. And as Kate said, the models of our business have changed tremendously. We're an integrated wealth management company, meaning that we do more than AUM, we do more than investments. I'm not worried about selling things to people. So the world has changed tremendously, and you will be compensated fairly for the value that you give to your clients. So continue to learn so you can continue to earn.
And so Marilyn, the name of your company is Diamond Group Wealth Advisors, and you're in San Ramon. And how many people are in your office and how many clients do you work with? Good question. I'm in the process, speaking of succession planning, I'm in the process of transacting buying a practice. So we'll have
2.5 advisors shortly, and we have another 4 staffers that that assist us with keeping our operation running. And we'll have about 150 households, round numbers, after the transaction.
And so when did you decide to make your career change?
Well, sadly, or whatever, right after the tech wreck. So I was a CEO of a young startup company in 2000 or 2001. And, you know, we all remember when the day hit when I want to say one of these young companies announced their earnings, and the entire part of that networking sector crashed, literally crashed within like 6 months. So my company got sold for nothing, and I was on the street looking for another CEO job. And after that, as you might know, there weren't very many CEO jobs available in 2001 and 2002. So I pivoted, speaking of a pivot, and I took some time off, and I retired for a little bit and realized that retirement wasn't for me. So I started this from scratch.
And how'd you start? What industry did you start in?
Well, like many people, you have to earn a little bit. So I got my life and health license with
Life insurance license?
Yep, starting with that. And then I got my Series 7 and 66 shortly thereafter, and just began building. I'm a marketing kind of a person, so I just began building my messaging, and started with 1 client, then 3, then 5, and everybody knows that drill. And here we are, almost 18 years later, and we have a very full integrated practice, and we're gonna add on another probably 60 households, round numbers. So.
Mm-hmm. And so how did you evolve from starting off selling life insurance to more of a comprehensive financial planning practice? Did you have a mentor or something?
I did. I had a couple different mentors. I had one that was in the, for those of you who know me, I'm not a great salesperson. I'm actually I care more about the end result for someone than I do selling a product. So needless to say, I probably would have failed if I was a life insurance salesperson, full time. So I had a couple of mentors in the business, and one was on the, if you will, actually one was a PNC manager, and the other one was actually in the group health business. So I started there, but I always wanted to be, actually I wanted to be on Wall Street when I was quite young, and I graduated from Wharton, but there were no women on Wall Street in those days. So I decided that I would just start from where I was and make sure that I could provide the proper solutions with the proper fiduciary care for the clients that I had. So I basically, for many of us, we started out with business owners. So that was my market sector.
Mm-hmm. And what were some of the things you learned from your mentors that really got you on this path to success?
I would say, and this was my answer to one of your other questions, was one, you have to have a passion for what you do every day.
Yeah.
With that purpose, that single-minded purpose, and you can't give up. You have to persevere. And for me, as a woman in this business, starting in 2002, I got a lot of no's. And what does no mean, Eric?
Means go find someone else.
No means not now. It means not now. So if you say no to me now, I'll say, okay, well, let's keep in touch, and we'll talk again. Maybe there's something else I could serve you with, right? And then you're right, go to the next person. And so, but it's amazing how many times people have circled back with me over the last 10 years and said, I remember what you told me 10 years ago, and I really want to work with you. I just got a call like that yesterday from somebody I hadn't talked to in 10 years. So what can I say?
That's it comes later on. Once you've got the technical skills and the personal skills going, and you know how to handle client relationships and things.
And how big is your office? How many people do you have, and how many clients do you work with, and how do you charge your clients?
We are currently 4 employees, 1 advisor, and 3 support staff. And we have 170 clients, and we have $280 million in assets under management, which I'm pretty excited about because I'm proud that we've gotten there. But most importantly, the clients all are engaged in financial planning. We don't take on any new clients unless they do financial planning. Clients pay a retainer fee, generally monthly, sometimes quarterly. They pay their first year upfront when they hire us. We just really lead with, we're here to do financial planning because that changes your life. 5 extra basis points relative to an index doesn't change your life. Financial planning does. And that's what we want our value proposition to be.
And how much do you typically charge for a financial plan?
I undercharge. I undercharge. Our average financial planning fee is like around $3,200. And when I run the numbers on running the business, that's about break even relative to my overhead. So I'd like that to be higher. And like I said, when I run the numbers, that should be higher, but most people are, $250, $300, $400, $500 monthly on their retainer for our services.
So I'm asking this, I think this is a really interesting conversation, Kate, but so when you quote that fee now, do you ever get pushback from the prospective clients?
No, dang it. I had someone say, wow, that low, like when I the fee, like my biggest problem is I had another client say, I'm going to refer you to like my best friend. You got to charge him more than you charge me. You're really undercharging me. And I was like, thank you. This is what like is great about the job is like, you can have these really honest conversations and like, you can talk about money and it's like not a taboo subject.
But when you first quoted that to your first prospective client, were you nervous about it?
I had someone else do it. I had an associate like for a while where I would say, and here's your fee grid and here's how much we're going to charge you. And she would be like 5,000 and throw it out there because I didn't have the like courage to do it. And we did that like 3 or 4 times and we realized everyone didn't blink an eye and like pulled out their credit card to pay the fee. But a lot of this is like teamwork and finding someone who's more courageous than you are to partner with, and who will push you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, I think we've all been in that meeting where you finally have the confidence to say, this is our fee and this is what we're worth, and you say it confidently, right? Tell me your one story about Angela Duckworth's book Grit, and why is grit so important in your story?
Yeah, I just read it before I was on the career panel for this event a few weeks ago. And like, it doesn't matter if you're the smartest technical expert, it doesn't matter if you're the, you just need to be the person who just keeps showing up and has a thick skin and is like tenacious and just keeps coming back. Because a lot of this industry is just persevering and having a thick skin and knowing that you're going to make it. That just matters, I think, more than anything. I think the story that I told is I played tennis and my dad would say to me, you don't have to be the fastest, you don't have to be the strongest, but you just need to get the ball over the net one more time than the other person. And that's in my personality. And I think if you have that in your personality, you're good to be in the path of trying to own and build your own firm. And if that's not in your personality type, then you're a good person to sit on the side of that person as they're building the firm, to speak to the different pathways that are out there to get into the career and then to be successful in the career.
Awesome, thanks. So Marilyn, talk a little bit about what part of the job you really love, and then maybe one thing that you're not as psyched about.
Well, great question. Much like Kate, I love the consulting and coaching of our clients on any topic, not just money. And as I said, how to take care of their financial house, whether it's business, family, or both. We do a lot of what I call integrated consulting for our business clients. And I love the writing, the blogging, the speaking. I've written the book and got a few more books coming. And then, the part of my job that is not my favorite, believe it or not, even though I started out in life and health, I abhor completing applications and any work associated with that. So if you ask me, can you complete, 5 applications for these 5 different registrations for these accounts, I want to barf. So that's not my fave. But if you tell me, if you want me to coach and consult with somebody on how they can build their business or how they can take care of their retirement planning or any subjects like that, I'm right there.
That's why we need to hire all these great students to come and help us with all these clients.
That's right.
Michael, what part of your job do you really love?
I'm going to use the word control. My wife tells me I'm a control freak. I don't think I'm a freak. I just like control. I'm always driving the car. Just kidding. So this career is, you know, and probably most client-facing careers, I have total control over how I spend my time, who I spend my time with, who, you know, one of my colleagues, Spencer, is here on this call, and who I spend my time with professionally, working from anywhere, doing the things I need to do. So this career affords a tremendous amount of control over your life, your work-life balance, how much money you want to make, how hard you want to work. So it's really a special thing to have when you have it. And when I see people that don't have it struggle, I'm reminded of how special it is to have it. And I think this coronavirus situation has made me appreciate it exponentially. Just this current public health environment requires a lot of flexibility and the ability for me to control my life, spend time with my kids, be a good dad, be a good husband, and be a great advisor for my clients, and to do it in the way that I need to do it. So control. If you like control, you're going to love this career.
When did you realize that the client relationship and controlling the client relationship was so important to your career?
You know, I don't know if I have an answer to that. I don't know if there was a specific moment when I realized it. You know, Kate and I have a former colleague named Michael Yoder, who was a Cal Berkeley classmate of mine. And he kind of planted in my head the power of ownership. And with ownership comes obviously the ability to control things a bit more. And that's something that stuck with me. So I was always aware and mindful of ownership of my client relationships, ownership of you know, my time, my schedule. And for me, that was something that kind of stayed with me throughout my career. Now, I want to be clear, that may not be important to everybody. I'm not here to be self-righteous and tell you guys all that you should want ownership. It's just something that for me just has been a constant theme in all my actions and everything and the decisions I've made along the way.
And what type of people, what type of clients, what characteristics are you looking for in clients? What sort of niches are you looking for clients if you want to associate with them?
I'll be frank, the first thing is that they're nice. That's the total truth. I've been doing this for, you know, since 2001. The last thing I want to do is go, who am I seeing tomorrow? Oh no, that person is such a prick, you know, or is rude to someone or disrespectful. For me, that's the driving factor for me. If they're nice people, I'm happy to work with them, and the dollars will work itself out.
Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, and then just, you know, profile wise, obviously being in the Bay, I've positioned myself to work with a lot of technology employees, entrepreneurs and founders, equity compensation being a theme, tax planning being a theme. And then I also work with a lot of like realtors, medical professionals and lawyers, partners, helping them set up retirement plans and reduce their tax liability and do, you know, retirement planning. So that's kind of profile wise, that's kind of where I've been going. But the fundamental theme is that they're nice and respectful people.
Yeah. What's the one part of your job you might not enjoy so much?
Everything that I don't enjoy, I've learned to delegate to someone who can get it done. And this is something that it took me a while to learn is I can't, you know, one of my old coaches told me, hey, do you have a complete business? And he used the word complete business. And I said, complete business? I mean, I'm a small business owner. I'm doing the marketing and the paperwork. And I quickly realized that, you know, there were areas of my business that, you know, were underperforming, and pick your reason. I didn't like doing it, so I procrastinated. I wasn't good at it. I wasn't effective at it. It was too time consuming. And so from that point on, I looked in the mirror and said, what are the things that I completely and utterly suck at doing? Like, own it, own the suckage. And also, what are the things that I really shouldn't be doing because it's not a good use of my time? and then make sure that someone is doing those things if it's not going to be me. And to be clear,
That's-
it's not
that's
always
Spencer.
perfect, but it's something that I think about a lot.
And that's your man Spencer that does that for you?
Yeah, sorry, Spencer. I know you're on this call.
I think he knows by now. All right, I got to pick up the pace because Campbell's going to be on me like a tall dog here. All right, Kate, what do you love about this business and one thing you might not enjoy so much?
You know, I've never met anyone ever who says, I love paperwork. I'm waiting to meet them. I did meet one person once. So, you know, the same things. I just enjoy so much the relationships that I have with the clients. I'm frequently the first person they call when they get a new job or they're pregnant or they have a cancer diagnosis. Like that's a real feeling of just amazing value in the world into people's lives. And I forget about it, but they're really proud of me and happy for me back. And that's deeply rewarding. And the things that I, don't like are the same thing. Like, I don't like the paperwork. I hate like doing my workers' comp audit. I hate doing a lot of the auditing that I need to do as a business owner. But something that I realized recently is that I have to do a little bit of it to like keep myself humble and because it matters to my team. So last couple of weeks ago, we gave everyone like a Friday off and I was stuck having to do some paperwork and process some stuff. And on Monday, when I said I had done it, I think everyone was like so shocked and happy, but also it showed to like that I could be humble, that I didn't want to say like, this paperwork is below me, so I'm not going to do it. And it reminds you a little bit of like, this is where it came from and this is part of it. And like, it doesn't happen without this. And this role is really important in the practice too. And I need to value the people who do this for me and that it's not that easy as well.
What are some of the resources? And I always ask about what books you like to read or what's your favorite book lately or podcasts that you would recommend, Kate?
So I'm just always like hanging over all of Michael Kitz's words and Nerd's Eye View and things like that. I think that's such an important resource. I think he read recently that he's like added more subscribers last year than he did in his entire career up to 2020, which is fascinating. So that's a great resource. You know what I've been recommending to people lately is I have been recommending to people Charles Kindleberger's Manias, Panics, and Crashes, because everybody starts the conversation like walking down the street, my friends, like everybody is the greatest investor of all time right now. Everybody's like got 100% return since March of 2021. And like, I should have just bought all Tesla. And so it's a very hard time, I think, to be like getting into the business because everybody's mistaking timing for talent. And if you read that book, it's a history of like financial bubbles and crashes going back to tulips in Holland. And
that's a great one.
What I like about it is it reminds us that like everything old is new again, that this is all cyclical. And like the greatest role that we play for people is not really being like a yes man and telling them what they want to hear. It's to be the person who actually says, well, we're going to talk about this. Let me explain how margin works. Let me explain where there's leverage built into investments and why that works really well, or why that can take down your company as it did with AIG. So you use it to educate the clients. But right now, that's something that I've been like encouraging people to read when they tell me they want to be like an options trader, and they're really, really good at investments.
All right, Michael, what resources do you have to share with our group?
Well, I'm going to give a plug for the Financial Planning Association. I'm a past president there. I know there are many FPA members on this call and in this community. Kate, I think I have some responsibility for her becoming FPA chapter president. And if you're not a member of the local chapter of the FPA, it's something to take a look at. It's a great community of people, and there's a lot of overlap with the Berkeley community too. On the book side, I'm thinking of 3 books off the top of my mind that I think have helped me in my career. The one is one of my first managers gave me when I entered the business called, it's Ron Dillingham's Integrity Selling. As a 22, 23-year-old who didn't really understand what selling meant, and I thought about this book when I saw the comment about selling versus serving, active listening. It's the first book I gave Spencer to read when I hired him. Integrity Selling, check it out. Really quick read, just helps frame your mind on helping people achieve their own goals and not pushing things on them. Really good. The E-Myth by Michael Gerber, Santa Rosa, I believe, up north. Ownership, Technician, Manager. And then the third one is a new one from Morgan Housel, who I heard speak through an FPA chapter meeting. He's a pretty good FinTwit handle too, Morgan Housel. And that's financial Twitter for those that don't know. And his latest book, The Psychology of Money, I think each chapter has a specific money lesson that I think through storytelling is very insightful and helpful in my conversations with clients.
Awesome. Thanks. All right, Marilyn, are you ready? What are the resources or books or podcasts you'd recommend?
So I'm with both of them on the FPA. I love Michael Kitces. I read him every week. Sorry about that. Hang on. Sorry about that. We got some things going on in the car. And actually books, I think you got to go back to an oldie but goodie, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And then I have a new one, which is more of a coaching book, but it's really helped me and helped my clients. It's called Success Principles by Jack Canfield. And love the book Grit as well. But the other one by Dr. Carol Dweck is Mindset. So I stop with those three. And then, news sources, Kitces. I love my Barron's. I've had it for 40 years. So that's how old I am. And then, there's all the other stuff that we all, subscribe to and see. But FPA is a great organization. And then I have a number of women's groups that one I have founded, Savvy Women, and then a couple others that I'm a member of.
All right, Marilyn, I'm going to give you one shot real quick. Final last words for our students in the audience.
Well, I would say, like some of the other folks have said, be flexible. Make sure you do what's called a Colby assessment or some assessment similar to that, so you really know what your strengths are and the things that you love doing versus what you may not like doing. And I get that when you're new, you're going to have to do everything. I had one of my young associates on the call tonight, and yes, he got to do everything, including filling out applications. But find out what you're really good at, what you're passionate about, and really dig deep and get, just get all that you can about that particular area that you love doing, because that's going to pay great dividends.
Awesome. Thanks, Marilyn. All right, Michael, final words for our crew.
As the saying goes, nothing great in life is easy. Don't get discouraged early on. If the barrier to entry was really low, the outcome wouldn't be so great. And in the wise words of the show Hamilton, talk less, smile more.
I didn't know you actually had any cultural bones in your body, Michael. That's good to know. Kate, final words for our crew.
Just stay in it. It's totally worth it. If your success will be in direct negative correlation to your comfort level. And then it's just the best thing ever, but you got to make it through those first. It's not short, 5 to 10 years, but it's a beautiful thing. And thank you for at least considering it and being here tonight, because we need the next generation of people to enter this amazing profession.
Well said. That's exactly right. My final comment is I hope that all of you in the audience noticed that everyone had a different journey, but there's some common themes about serving clients and how rewarding that is. So hopefully you'll get a chance to ask more of your questions in the breakout rooms. And with that, Campbell Judge, back to you.
Okay, Eric, thank you so much. So Kate, Michael, Marilyn, Eric, this was amazing. Thank you so much for sharing the journey that all of you have been on. As you were talking, I was thinking about one incident that I had with a client, one example that I had with a client of mine. And by the way, my clients are financial advisors. And this was an advisor that I worked with years and years and years ago. I knew him when he was probably in the first 5 years of his business, from probably age 30 to age 35. And then I went a separate path and we bumped into each other 20 years later. And it was so much fun to hear and reminisce the stories that he had that we were really close for those 5 years that we worked together. And in that 20-year difference, the 20-year time frame, he basically said to me, he had no idea when he got into the business that it would be so rewarding. Rewarding from a relationship standpoint that he developed with his clients, and rewarding from a financial standpoint. It worked. But I think it was Kate who said at the very beginning, don't get into this business just to be financially successful. By doing the right thing for clients, by working closely with clients, by developing that relationship with clients and solving their problems, leads to financial success. But you have to have that mindset of, I'm going to serve and help this client. So thank you so much for joining us. In this next about 10 minutes, and this is a prep for our hiring firms. So they've been kind enough to come and participate and share just a little bit about each of their firms. We're going to do this in about a 10-minute period of time. So each of them are going to take just like 90 seconds, 60 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever it is. But I will call their names out and then just go firm by firm. So let me start with Edward Jones.
Thank you, Campbell, for having us. And I know everybody, it's nice to see your faces. Umberto Leone, I am a CFP, and I give everybody here credit for going through the process, through the UC Berkeley extension, and just taking on the challenge of becoming a CFP. It's well worth it, as everybody has shared, and kudos to you taking on that challenge. My office is here in Concord, and a colleague of mine, Chris Leitner, he's on the Zoom as well. His office is in Alameda. We're both with Edward Jones. And when we were just thinking about some of the things that we wanted to share, which we do look forward to getting a chance to talk with more of you in the breakout room, but when we were thinking about some of the things that we wanted to share with the group as a whole, some of the things that we've noticed about our career, like a lot of the other advisors have been mentioning, the significance you make in your clients' lives. One thing that I learned over the last handful of years is this opportunity gives you a chance to be successful inwardly, but also significant outwardly. And that significance is really what drives you. And like Kate talked about earlier, it really makes those relationships with your clients very fruitful in a dual role. The Edward Jones opportunity gives you that in an entrepreneurial fashion as a business owner, where my office is my office in Concord, with the opportunity to also get training from the firm's support, training that's ongoing, personal coaching, business coaching, firm-wide level. It's really, I've been here 10 years and continuous training is available as needed and as desired. You get a branch office administrator where you have support in your office directly for you through your client relationships, allowing you to fully serve those clients both in the investment, the planning, and the administrative fashion, the client service and the advice that we give. And one of the things that I thought was worthy of mentioning that we think is a little bit more enticing about the Edward Jones opportunity is that from day one, particularly as a CFP, from day one, you really get an opportunity to do the same things that a 30-year veteran with the firm has the opportunity to do. And many of us in the industry will know this term, goals-based advice. Kate alluded to it earlier when she's talking about financial planning. Part of being a CFP is giving that comprehensive goals-based advice. And the Edward Jones model is built around that, and that happens on day one. There's no junior advisor, there's no associate advisor. You're the advisor working one-on-one with your clients, giving that comprehensive, thorough, goals-based advice like a 30-year veteran would do as well. So some of the things we wanted to share, and again, look forward to anybody that has interest in learning more about us in the breakout room.
Thank you, Umberto and Edward Jones. Let's go to Northwestern Mutual.
Hello, everyone. My name is also Campbell, which gets wildly confusing being on this call and hearing my name repetitively, because there are very few people I've met with that name. I work as Director of Internship Development at Northwestern Mutual and oversee a unit of full-time advisors as their mentor. I think some of the things I would highlight about Northwestern Mutual is, from an internship standpoint, what is a little bit unique is that you do have an opportunity to come in and do everything a full-time advisor is learning. But without the pressure of it being your career from day one. So I like to think of it as learning how to walk before you can run. It's easier to explain a 3-month internship on your resume than it is a 3-month career. Not that anyone would say, but that being said, you know, there's a lot of training and development that goes into it, similar to, I'm sure, a lot of the firms that are here, whether it's onboarding, training and development, fast track training, and then ongoing. I think what's always really drawn me in was a leadership versus management dynamic. When you come in, you are building your business from the ground up, which, as all the advisors here has mentioned, is not necessarily the easiest thing ever, but having the support and backing of a firm that's been around 162 years isn't the worst position to be in. But yeah, I look forward to answering any questions in breakout rooms and being a resource. If anyone's looking for a full-time career, I can always direct you in that direction. But yeah, I'm here and available.
Thank you, Campbell at Northwestern Mutual. Let's go to First Republic.
Hi, everyone. My name is Stephanie. I am a senior director on the talent acquisition team here at First Republic. I do recruiting for our campus side, so we will have internships available. And my team also covers recruiting for our private wealth management group. So we are actually looking for individuals who have a CFP, whether you are currently in the program or are in a role now that requires you to have a CFP. We're essentially looking for financial planning analysts, and a lot of these individuals sit with our wealth managers. So they're really reviewing financial plans, giving planning recommendations to different clients and so forth. We also have a financial planning group that we have opportunities there as well. And I am here with my colleague, Ben. So we look forward to speaking with you at our breakout groups as well.
All right, Steph, thank you. Let's go to Tom at the Financial Services Network.
Thank you so much. My name is Tom Croxton. I'm one of our vice presidents at the Financial Services Network. We're a unique firm relative to some of the big names that you heard that got brought up here, but we're located in Sacramento as well as Danville, and we actually support about 337 financial advisors with about $22 billion of AUM. To that extent, we are hiring like gangbusters, even through COVID. We continue to bring folks on board. I really describe our firm as being experts in the business of delivering financial advice by creating services that support the fiercely independent advisors. And Marilyn Suey from our panel is actually one of our advisors with the Financial Services Network. So I wanted to give her a shout out. Very happy to see her on the panel, but very excited to talk to you guys how we support advisors. We've built services like portfolio consulting and virtual admin, business consulting lines to help that independent advisor thrive and grow. Just as Michael said, we are looking to partner with those business owners and say, hey, you know what? Your best use of your time is spending it with your clients. How do we support you and build services behind that to help you thrive and grow, and outsource the things like paperwork and things of that nature that you're just not excited to do. So all that being said, really excited to talk to everyone in the breakout rooms and move forward.
Thanks, Tom. Waypoint Wealth Partners, please.
All right, everybody that's on my team will chuckle at the fact that it took me a while to get off mute. I thought the easiest way to do this was just quickly share a screen about our vision, let you guys take a look at that. We're a 12-person team. We have, of those 12 people, 9 are CFPs, 7 came through the UC Berkeley program. Bam, we like those numbers. And we are an independent RIA. We have about 150 clients, 650 million under management. And I encourage you all to talk with our people about what we're all about, the clients we work with, and what it's like to work here. And that'll do it. I'm done.
Okay. All right. And Vista Wealth Management. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, everybody. Eric Swenson. I'm a principal wealth advisor with Vista Wealth Management. We have 4 offices, 3 around the Bay Area, Palo Alto, San Francisco, Pleasanton, and 1 up in Portland. We're an RIA managing about $2.7 billion for 800 families, actively hiring right now for client service, financial planners, associate wealth advisors. So look forward to talking to you more in the breakout sessions.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're right on schedule to take us now to the breakout sessions, and this will go until 6:30. I think everyone has been assigned. So what you will find in each breakout session is a panelist and then 2 hiring firms, along with a advisory board member. So our goal is to sort of create conversation with the participants and the hiring firms. Each advisory board member will sort of help steer that conversation, and hopefully it'll go well. But if you don't stick around, I want to thank you so much for participating. And Matt, did I miss anything, or will we just magically end up in one of the breakout sessions?
All goes according to plan, you will magically end up in a breakout session. If not, we will steer you into one of those rooms. All right, I'm going to open up those rooms right now.
I think we still have some participants with us, but I just wanted to officially wrap up the program and thank everyone for your involvement. Thanks for your support. Thanks for your enthusiasm. This has been a great virtual career night. It wasn't in person. We've loved those in the past, but this was almost as good. So have a nice evening, and please reach out to any of us on the advisory board for follow-up.
Thanks, Campbell.
Thanks, Campbell.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you all.
Everyone.
Campbell.
Thanks, April.
Go Bears!